I have been sharing my imaginary world Chutasia on YouTube for over a year now. My imaginary world centres around my stuffed toy hedgehog Chutney, who I got when I was 9 years old, and I've been working on my world for over 20 years now. But don't worry if you're new, the purpose of today's video is to give an overview of the key themes and events and characters that I've introduced on my channel over the past year. If anything mentioned in the video just pique your interest and you think, oh, I'd like to know a bit more about that, then the video description will be filled with links of where you can follow up on all the things that I'm mentioning. So let's just start at the very beginning. What is this imaginary world thing? So my imaginary world is also called a paracosm, and it's a little bit different from world building because a paracosm is very personal to you. It's like a creative expression, and I have said in my videos that my paracosm doesn't have any sort of moral or parable or whatever behind it. It's just sort of like a vomit of absurd ideas. But I do encourage my viewers to, if you would like, create your own symbolism, create your own meaning and your own sort of reflections and personal growth from the strange stories and weird jokes that come from my world. So some of the key aspects: Chutney is a princess of Chutasia, and she has come through an interdimensional time travel microwave and ended up on planet Earth inhabiting the body of a stuffed toy. Because Chutney is actually, of course, a Chutasian hedgehog, and she's kind of stuck in this toy body, but she has telepathy with me, and she tells me all about the world that she's from. But of course, because we're reliant on Chutney, maybe Chutney's not always the most reliable or the most truthful. Maybe Chutney likes to exaggerate a little bit some of the stories. So just be mindful when we're talking about Chutasia. A certain percentage of it might not be true. So Chutasia is made up of 11 islands, and I have done a video where I've sort of introduced all of the islands, but for now I'll just introduce some of the key ones. So the big one in the middle is called Chutaland, and this is home to the Chutasian Royal Palace. It's home to a mountain range called the Blanket Mountains, and it is where the hedgehogs grow their favourite, most important crop, potatoes, because Chutasian hedgehogs like potatoes and yogurt and cake. They're not like any type of hedgehog that you might have seen before. Now, one of the sort of most recent key events in Chutasia that we've been talking about at the moment is there has been a recent war where the royal family had to flee the royal palace and go to a neighbouring island called Noseton, and we have also talked a lot about Noseton in some of the videos, so you can go and have a look at that. So what was the war about? Well, the war was about the potatoes, hence the name War of the Potato. And basically the potato crop didn't grow as they were expecting it to, and then lots of conspiracies and rebellious groups popped up over the fact of the issues with the potato. And you can, again, look in some links if you're interested in more about the War of the Potato. So there are some theories about why the potatoes didn't grow correctly, possibly because they very strictly plant them according to a calendar. And this was a calendar that they were helped to develop by some mysterious teachers and sort of spiritual teachers and craftsmen who came from the mysterious island of Uri-Nation. And again, there is a video series if you are interested in about the origins of the Chutalandian calendar, the Chutalandian days of the week, and the Chutalandian creation myth. So how do they think that Chutasia came into being? I've done a series about that. That one's a little bit more in depth, but if you do like more complex lore, then that would be one to check out. So yeah, there is some doubt that perhaps the Chutasian calendar is not very good, and that's why the potatoes didn't grow as they were expecting. So I can also introduce to you, of course, we have Chutney, our main character. Well, I would say main character. I don't know if she's sort of the main character, but some of the things I share on the channel are not from Chutney's point of view. They're just facts about the world. But Also, I have lots of cuddly toys that are all part of the Chutasia story. Again, link below if you want to meet all the toys. But for now, I'll just introduce you to some of the key members. So this is Alfredo. And Alfredo is Chutney's dad, and Alfredo is a spy for the Chutasian government. But he's a very principled spy, and he doesn't believe in lying. So he's an honest spy. And again, you can find out more about Alfredo in the videos linked. This one is Elvis, and he is Chutney's uncle, and he has a radio station in Chutasia, and his catchphrase is howdy ho. So that's just a little hello to Uncle Elvis. As I said, there are lots of them that you can meet if you're interested in meeting lots of cuddly toy characters. There is a video for that. Let me put you back. But one of the key characters who isn't here in stuffed animal form is, I wouldn't want to say the villain, because I don't like to put hedgehogs in boxes, but there is a character who is called Evil Witch Scopalamina, but she might not be evil and she might not be a witch. I always think it's important to say that, you know, you shouldn't judge someone because you shouldn't judge a book by its cover. You shouldn't judge her by a name. She might not be evil. She might not be a witch. But she is the one who kind of tricked Chutney into going into the interdimensional time travel microwave. So actually, you know, we should be thanking Scopalamina. Well, perhaps, I don't know. Maybe we should be thanking Scopalamina, because without her, Chutney wouldn't have come here and she wouldn't have met me and, you know, wouldn't be learning about Chutasia. So maybe Scopalamina actually served a purpose in some way to the story. So Scopalamina is an advisor to the Queen, who is Chutney's mum, and she sort of she had her own motives. She was sort of whispering ideas in the Queen's ear, trying to manipulate her, and eventually Chutney gets sent through the time machine. Scopalamina is actually a member of a rebel group who are called the Uri-Nation. If you're interested in the Uri-Nation, I'll again link below. The Uri-Nation not really they don't really like the royal family. So again, I'm just looking at some notes here. So yeah, a lot of the world, there is a mixture of sort of geography, history, family trees and things like that. But sometimes some of my videos just a series of strange did you knows. So for instance, there are some did you knows about cereal. So the ancient Chutasians used to build pyramids out of rice pops, puffed rice. Used to have this giant puffed rice that they'd build pyramids out of. There was also an inventor who found a way to measure time passing by pouring milk on his cereal and then measuring how soggy the cereal was, and then you could figure out how much time had passed. What a genius. So some of my videos are like that. There's one about cereal, there's one about soup, because again, the hedgehogs like their potatoes, their cake, their yogurt, but they also love soup. The royal family actually have a soup pipeline installed in their palace. So they have the hot and cold water taps, and then they have a tap for soup. So you can just have some soup whenever you want it. I've also done a couple of videos about some of the sort of urban legend characters that exist in Chutasia. So there's the sort of character who's responsible for ear infections. He's called Earmuck Earfun. And then there's also the kind of Santa Claus figure who is called Father Hog. And again, they have videos that you can go and have a look at if you'd like. So that's probably a pretty good overview of the world so far that I've been sharing online. Of course, I am continuing to do so, and I am beginning now to kind of venture into encouraging people, if they would like, to start, interpreting and analysing Chutasia. What might some of these things in Chutasia mean, or can you relate to a particular character and why not? So yeah, if you'd like to join, you're welcome to subscribe. It's free, and you can follow along and as we discover more about Chutasia and its characters, or inhabitants rather, its inhabitants. So I hope you enjoyed this video and see you soon. Bye bye.